ফেলে দেব চান্স পেলেই যেখানে দরকার বডি ফেলে দেব and I've had a lot of personal experiences about that. আমি একটা আড়াই পাতার কিছু impressions about Mahasweta, about me. If you will allow me, I will share with you. The theme is intimate, the intimate as activism, writing as intimacy, as surrender, as in totally drowning in the act of writing, loving the language enough to completely immerse yourself in it. No place for the self as ego or personality, with its own views. To be possessed by the spirit of the language of literature, writing therefore as activism. Writing also as relationship, not just between two people, but also with the freedom she allowed her characters, or mukti as she called it, often in the context of the belief that her characters had the right to dream their own paths, choose their own fates, regardless of the consequences which would lead to some amazing stories where the reader often forgot the presence of the writer as a hidden clandestine presence, perhaps. Mahasweta Devi's ability to combine the fact of her daily life with her fiction and her activism that instinctively made her decipher realities and then translate them into a literature of resistance, not just as an extension of her own fighter self, but also as a human being with an evolving, growing, concerned vision. Writing as an act of intuition, a desperate storytelling that does not always position itself in the objective. It is personal and therefore political. It is left to the reader to find motivation or strategy or illusion or method in her texts. To quote her, writing became my real world for me, in which I lived and in which I survived. We used to read to each other poems, texts that qualified as jottings. She insisted I write every single day and made me send her texts, long, short, anything I did that particular day for 30 days to start me off on a journey of writing. Our conversations were meanderings in an otherwise vast and unfolding interruptus called life. And in her case, all the throwing herself into the fray, Bodi Peledevo, on behalf of the tribals, for instance, fighting battles with the police on their behalf. And yet we talked. We joked about death in the same breath as we joked about wanting to float and hover at our own death funeral. She hated good people, had no time for them. Often she said to me, "You must promise me that you will not change into a good person." What happens to life? What happens to belief when it is betrayed? I suddenly said out loud to her. And she said, "About belief, I have never found any reason to feel negative or pessimistic. The old values are all right for me and I see no reason to depart from them. You see the way I stay. You've seen me before too. You see it now. And I'm not doing a lot. I'm not doing anything great. I'm not doing anything that is momentous. This is the least I can do. I don't even feel the urge to be otherwise. People talk about my being a Naxalite sympathizer. Yes, I sympathize with them for sacrificing their lives for a belief. Even when they knew that writing a slogan on the wall would quote a bullet from the police, they did it. They were young jewels. The party just used these people and threw them away and forgot all about them. They are looking forward to my death so that they can slip in and give me a state funeral. I won't give them that chance, she said. A sense of self that instinctively did not lean on anyone, not out of pride, just a matter of fact way of being woman, human. And remember, she learned survival very early in a man's world. I once asked her, don't you feel lost sometimes? Because I get the feeling that you're haunted by so many ghosts and characters and people. I suppose all of us are. But with you, it is slightly different because they're almost like entire scenarios of books that you have done. She said they become part of my system. I've been able to get a glimpse of a vast human society, tribal, non-tribal, all of them. Also, because I wrote for newspapers, investigative sort of writing, I often say that my world is divided between two things, the needful and the needless. I am interested only in the former. I don't have much use for the needless. Soon the nature of our conversations would change, even grind to a halt, to be replaced by shorter visits, no recorded interviews or cameras for black and white photographs. She would still smile and recognize and do what we call ador to my arm, as if to say, you are loved. But already the fog in her mind was becoming a welcoming place, an early entrapment, a slow dementia that would only grow worse. And yet, at the Jaipur Literature Festival a few years ago, here is what she said. At 88, or is it 7, I move forward, often stepping back into the shadows. Sometimes I am bold enough to step back into the sunlight. As a young person, as a mother, I would often move forward to when I was old, amuse my son Noburun, pretend that I couldn't hear or see, flail my hands about like in a blind man's game, or make mockery of memory. Forget important things. Things had taken place but a moment ago. These games were for fun. Now they are no longer funny. My life has moved forward and is repeating itself. I am repeating myself, recollecting for you what has been, what is, what could have been, may have been. Now it is memory's turn to mock me. And I conclude with a poem that she never read, amongst the many that I used to send her. This was a small poem on Hazar Chaurasi Ki Maan. The mandolins plays the night. The street waits for the girl to walk all over it. The girl takes her chalk and slits the street's unwilling throat. Ek haath, do haath, she hops from one numbered square to another. Us and them, she mutters. Turns on number 10 and hops back on bloodied feet. The man finishes clothing the naked mannequin with great care, whips out a pistol and shoots it in the eye, once, twice, 3 times. Day after day, she wakes up to her breathlessness. Thank you.